right, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Bluegrass Sports Podcast. And there's no need for the claps or anything because right now sports in the Bluegrass is very depressing, I would say. My name is Drew Keesee.
My name is DJ Wright, University of Louisville analyst.
My name's Tyler Cade, University of Kentucky analyst.
And today we're going to talk about the overview of Kentucky and Louisville baseball, and then we're going to dive into the round of 32 matchups between Louisville and Michigan State and Kentucky and Iowa State. So I'm going to do a brief overview about the baseball. That'll probably take a minute, and then DJ will talk about the Louisville game, and Ty will talk about the Kentucky game. There's a lot to talk about on both sides because, as you could see, both Kentucky and Louisville are both eliminated. Just very unfortunate for the Bluegrass fans and the fan bases. So let's just get underway. Let's start. So for baseball, I do know Murray State swept the season, or not the season, that would be amazing. They swept the series against Valpo. They did amazing. So props to the Racers for that. They're rolling. Now, Louisville and Kentucky baseball both lost their series. Louisville lost to North Carolina. It was a 1-2 series, right? DJ, back me up on that. It was So Louisville won one game, but they lost two, and so did Kentucky. Kentucky won one against Ole Miss, and then lost two, dropped the Sunday game. Both teams did. So both big programs looking to make a big comeback this week, and we'll keep you updated and see how it goes. I'll be posting on stories, so follow us on, you see here and here. So you got BGS, I'm sorry, I still do it wrong. It's right in front of me. It's BG Sports Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Threads. And then if you want to listen to us on Apple Radio, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Facebook, you'll look right here and it'll be a Bluegrass Sports Podcast. So go check us out and you'll see all the scores and updates and commitments that will be coming up. And we'll dive right into it. So first game of the round 32 we'll be talking about is the round of 32 matchup between the Louisville Cardinals, the 6 seed, and the Michigan State Spartans, the 3 seed. So DJ, take it away with how both teams played, how Louisville played, what your opinion on it, and just give us a rundown, man. Go right ahead.
Okay, I have a lot of notes about this game. Obviously, Cards took the loss 77-69, only lost by 8. Anyway, we'll get into what I have to say about this game. So, first off, first possession of the game, shot clock violation. A rule that was supposed to give us, which I thought was 30 seconds, turned into a 20-second shot clock violation, which wasn't a big deal, but obviously turn over the ball first possession, it's terrible. You never want to see that. It's a rule. Honestly, I had no idea. I had no clue that it would be 20 seconds, and I even looked and saw it. I was just confused until the end of the game whenever they had announced on social media what it was, as well as Ryan Conwell. He had received 2 fouls within 3 to 5 minutes of the game. Neither were shooting fouls or reach-in fouls. So he had been taken out about 15 minutes left into the first half of the game. Was at about half of that. So he came in about 7 minutes left in that first half. He actually played decently well in that first half. He came back shooting about 3 for 5, about 2 threes, I believe, and 2 layups. So he ended up finishing the first half with about 12, which still was pretty solid, being out 10 minutes in the game. And then we also went 4 for 13 for 3 in the first half. So only making 4 threes in that first half really screwed us a lot, actually, because during that there was a lot of turnovers, which Louisville had played great defense within that first half, I will say. Kobe Rogers had a couple nice steals, and Louisville was just putting a lot of pressure on him in that first half, which ultimately led to Louisville only being down by 5 in that first half, which I'll let y'all know how it goes after the second half, which Louisville came out in that second half only down 5. They came out hitting 2 layups, and Michigan State about doing the same thing as well with a 3 on top of that. And then it started going downhill for the Cards. It didn't last long. The Cards started to make a ton of mistakes, turning over the ball, just like Michigan State was in the first half, while still missing a lot of shots. A lot of fast breaks in return, a lot of fast break dunks and alley-oops, and contested threes by Michigan State, which kept them the lead. Louisville fought back, but just couldn't catch up. Louisville was playing catch-up the whole time in this game, and with all the turnovers we had in that second half and all the missed shots we had in that entire game, it was terrible. Louisville went 13 for 37 from three-point this entire game, so they shot 35%, which is awful. And then another thing we're looking at the bench here, and we're seeing only a total of 10 points, 12 points off the bench, and that's split between 3 players. One guy's got 8, the other guy's got 2. Everybody else has 0 for 2, 0 for 1. We'll say off the bench, Frew with 6 rebounds, which is the only other center we have besides Khalifa, which came in. He went 2 for 6 this game. He took a lot of shots that were unneeded, forced a lot of shots. I understand that the Cards were definitely in a lot of trouble getting open, but there was a lot of forced taking shots, and Khalifa is just setting screens on the outside, tossing the ball off to somebody else, and then popping out for a 3 every single time. I've never seen that man roll into the paint one time. I mean, that man he doesn't get boards. He has 1 board. He's 7 foot tall. He's the tallest man on our team, and he's got 1 board. He's the tallest. He played 14 minutes, and you got 1 board, bro. Are you serious?
It's pretty predictable when you do a pick and pop every time. I think the defense will catch on throughout the game what you're going to do.
I mean, he was lucky to hit the 2 shots.
You're right.
And then we move on to Javon Hadley, which is playing power forward / center, sometimes a little small forward, depending on who we have in the lineup or that rotation at that time. He goes 1 for 8 with 2 points, 0 for 4 from 3. What a fantastic job from Hadley. And then he also he had 3 boards, 4 assists, so he was passing the rock around, but he had missed 4 threes. I'm pretty sure he missed almost all those threes in that first half. Didn't take another 3, was terrible in the paint, obviously, as you could tell, 1 for 8. I move on to Isaac McNeely. I thought he was going to shoot well from going off of 7 to 10 in that South Florida game to now coming in here. Now he's 3 for 7. A lot of forced shots. Now I will say he's still recovering a little bit from that shoulder, and he had staples in his head from that other game. But man, just a lot of forced shots in this game too. He didn't. I mean, everybody pretty much had 4 boards, a few assists. Along that, nobody excelled in anything. Nobody excelled in anything. Conwell had 21 and Woolley had 17. Woolley stepped up this game, actually. I will say Woolley actually played a great game. He went 7 for 10, 3 for 6 from 3, had 4 boards and 3 assists. He was the only one, I would say, besides Conwell, actually playing this game correctly. Zuccarus, he had a flagrant foul and closer to the end of the game, and there was no flagrant. I mean, I'm not sure what
I disagreed with that too.
I'm not sure what the call was about.
Right.
There was just a lot of things in this game that I didn't see on a lot of fouls, a lot of turnovers, a lot of mistakes, a lot of things you don't want to see from your team, and that's how you lose. And I don't want to blame anything on Pat Kelsey, because I want to say I love that guy to death. He did a great job, definitely coaching our defense well, putting the guys in the position to get stops, especially why we stayed in this game so long, being down 5 at halftime and only losing by 8 to Michigan State after everybody had you as a pretty big under. Had you probably? I think it was like a.
Well, what was the spread?
I think it was like a 8-point spread, 10-point spread. I mean, it's still good, obviously, picking that correctly, but like I would thought that if Louisville was to lose to a team like Michigan State and how heavily they've been throughout the season and how they played their first game, I thought Michigan State would have come in here and ran Louisville out. And Michigan State actually didn't really impress me this game too much, and they made a lot of mistakes, just like the Cards did. But they just picked it up in the second half and was able to finish it out. But I just want to give nothing else but praise to the Cards for this season. 24-11 I just want to say the Cards definitely improve from the past years. And as somebody who watches Louisville play, I watches basically every game. I want to say that I'm just so glad to see that Louisville had fought back this year and played so well. It was sad to see Mikael Brown obviously didn't play this game either, and we knew that coming into this. And it's sad to see that we might not see him next year. Most likely won't see him next year.
Yeah, I think he's heading to the draft, man.
Yeah, he had that interview, and from the way he was talking, it sounded like he was leaving. So don't quote me on that. I'm not for sure, but I will say it doesn't seem like he's coming back. So we have a lot to talk about whenever it comes to transfer portal time and some recruits whenever Louisville starts picking that up. And I just want to say good job to the Cards this year. They had a great year. Just sad to see them lose to Michigan State. Just a bad matchup. And we'll go ahead and move on.
Before we move on, I just wanted to say my piece about Pat Keesee. You can't really blame anything on Pat Keesee. Like I said in previous episodes, look what Louisville has been the past few years with Kenny Payne. I mean, Chris Mack, they were decent with Chris Mack, but I never knew they never won a tournament game with Chris Mack.
Yeah.
They didn't win one. That's why I give props to Pat Keesee, is because he did drop that one against Creighton.
Yeah.
I had a game at Rupp Arena that was basically a home game for Louisville in the NCAA tournament. But he just gave the Card fan base their first NCAA tournament win in almost a decade. It was 9 years, since Pitino.
Mm-hmm.
So props to him for sparking that energy back up and giving the Cards that win. Now, I know he got bounced in the round of 32, but look at the region he was in. They had Duke. They had Michigan State. They had St. John's, Kansas, UConn. I mean, any coach is going to, that's a gauntlet. Any coach to be in that situation, it's going to be difficult. So props to him for fighting. Now, it's hard to win a game when you're constantly playing catch-up and a lot of your players going over and your tallest player isn't grabbing rebounds. It's just unfortunate, and just as a Louisville fan, you got to look for next year and see what Keesee does in the portal, because as you can tell, Pat Keesee isn't really aggressive when it comes to recruiting high school players. He's very, He's very portal heavy, let's say that. He goes and gets the top targets in the portal. Like he got Conwell, and was Hadley was a portal.
Yeah, McNeely.
McNeely. See, I think Brown was the only high school recruit, correct?
I'm pretty sure he was the only. Besides Pryor, who came back.
Okay, right. Okay, so as you can see, Keesee's pretty portal heavy, so we'll just have to see what the Louisville coaching staff does for Louisville's season next year and their roster management and construction. So we'll keep you updated on socials. And now,
sorry, can we get an applause for the Cards this season? Can we get a Keesee in the Cards? Great job to them.
Cards. They ended single-digit losses, correct? They didn't get over 10 losses?
No, we got 11.
That's good.
We got 11. No, we have 11.
Oh, you had 11? Okay, well, I was going to say it's impressive they had
but still, that's very good. Barely
the past few years, you'll take 11 over like 20. So, Right. All right, so now we're going to move on to the Kentucky and Iowa State game. And before I hand it over to Tyler, because I know he's been waiting for his moment, I just want to say one thing. So the first half was pretty competitive. Kentucky was leading most of the half, and then Iowa State stole that basket and was leading at 1 at halftime. And then after that, Iowa State, they came out of halftime. I would call this is called a belt. Iowa State came out of halftime. They took this belt. Imagine this is Kentucky. And just, I mean, I don't know what I just hit. I'll pick it up afterwards. But it was the belt. And I think the stat they showed on the TV was they outscored Kentucky like 35-15 coming out of half, maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. But that wasn't a good look for Kentucky fans whatsoever. And Tyler, the floor is yours, man. I know you have a lot to talk about. So Tyler, take it away.
The historic University of Kentucky Wildcats basketball was completely embarrassed under head coach Mark Pope by the Iowa State Cyclones. They lost 82-63 in the round of 32 in the tournament, in the NCAA tournament. Now, there's a lot to talk about. I don't even know where to start. But here's where I'm going to start. First half, going into this game. You have a 10-point lead, I believe. Iowa State starts 1 for 6. So any basketball team knows the opponent is going to hit their shots eventually. They're going to. You're not going to go 1 for 60 the whole game, right? Okay. When we get a slight lead, Mark Pope decides it is time to bring in Jasper Johnson, who has done the same thing repeatedly the whole entire year. Jasper Johnson played 1 minute and dropped Kentucky's lead down to 0, going -9 in 1 minute. Are you going to win a game bringing in a player that goes -9 in 1 minute? I don't think so. Are you okay? On the other side of it, you have Marino, not shooting him down, not saying that he's a bad player, but he's a freshman who his nerves are getting to him. Same thing with Jasper Johnson. I'm not blaming this on Jasper Johnson. He hasn't gotten the experience what it takes to be in a tournament game. His nerves are getting to him. He's an 18-year-old kid. Marino has not been able –
some people have to take consideration when they're bashing players and
100%.
Getting on them that they're 18. They were in high school last season, man. I'm sorry for interrupting you, Tyler, but I've just seen so much hate towards certain players, especially freshmen, Moreno, Jasper. Like, it's okay to be frustrated with their play, but it's not okay to take it to the next level. I think we kind of said this in our last episode with Moreno, but just before everybody starts bashing this roster and players, just remember they're kids, especially the freshmen. They're 18-year-olds that just played their first March Madness ever. And like you said, Tyler, they're going to be nervous. So before we bash players, let's kind of be considerate of how young they are and how much they're still learning. Sorry about that, Tyler. Keep going.
Yeah. I mean, perfectly said, like, I'm not saying that it's Jasper Johnson or Malachi Marino's fault. Malachi Marino hasn't been able to really grab a rebound here lately, which happens. I'm focusing this more towards Mark Pope. When you have Malachi Marino, who is not playing the best, bring in Brandon Garrison. He's playing great. Look at what he did last game. I mean, I know you don't want to get him in foul trouble, but what are you going to do? Willingly lose the game while you're down? You're just going to keep going more down? Like, it's an NCAA tournament. You have to make an adjustment before it's too late. And clearly, to be honest, I'm just going to say it. Mark Pope was completely outcoached this game. It was embarrassing. For a coach who's supposed to be a very good adjustment coach, which he was some games this season. He was very good. We see comeback wins against Tennessee, but, that doesn't matter. It's tournament time. He got embarrassed. With his substitutions, they were awful. And I think a big part of Kentucky being down during the regular season was the substitutions. Why are you bringing in – why are you switching up? Okay, I'm going to word it like this. Why are you bringing out your best players who are playing good in the moment? People go on hot streaks. That's what happens in basketball. You go on a hot streak and you keep scoring and you get your rhythm. That's when you get taken out in basketball and you get brought back in, your rhythm is completely lost. I don't care. Mark Pope would say you need rest. Your players need rest. Your players need rhythm. That's what it is. Your players need rhythm. Right? Am I right or am I wrong?
No,
No,
you,
you're
you
right.
need rhythm. You need
Yeah.
rhythm and you need consistency. And when your players and your lineup does have a rhythm, you need to keep them in the game and you don't need to take them out. That's one thing I do disagree with Mark Pope is whenever there's a team that's on the floor for Kentucky and they go on like let's say 8-0 run,
Yeah.
he'll sub them out. Like what's the point of making that substitution if that lineup is doing amazing on the floor and going on a run? Like, why do you make that substitution? Tyler, do you know what I'm talking about? That's what
Yeah.
I notice when I watch Kentucky games is he takes out the lineups that are on a run and puts other people in, and it just
That's
ruins
exactly my
momentum.
point.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. Yeah, you said it very good. I mean, okay. And another thing that I'm going to say is, I mean, maybe it was just a poor recruited team. I think that was very clear to see. Like, these players, a lot of them are D1 players, which that's a hot take. And it's hard for me to say that right now, but it's the truth. I like them. They're great people, but they're not D1 basketball players. And for University of Kentucky, I don't think they're the right fit. Now, one thing I am questioning is why Mark Pope played Andrei Yelovich so much and in the situations that he did. Now, he has tons of strengths in his game, but his one weakness that I see that happened consistently throughout the season is he's not a good ball handler. And why in your system you hand Yelovich the ball at the top of the key and you have him dribble around the key all the time. And from what I can think of, 50% of the time, it's a turnover whenever he does that. Like, I don't know how many y'all see. Like, when you're watching it, every time he gets the ball at the top of the key, he drives into nowhere, he gets stuck, and he turns the ball over.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Whenever I was watching the game, every time Kentucky touched the ball, they were just like, "Here you go, here's the ball." 20
Yeah.
different times. Like every time that Kentucky lost the ball, I mean, it almost was like every play. So I mean,
It was.
there a lot of it was Yelovich, but you got to look at the whole team on that. It wasn't just him, man.
I agree. I was just saying, like, the whole season it's been that way, so you got to recognize that as a head coach. That was my kind of point, I guess. But, okay, let me look at my halftime thought notes because, going into halftime, right, you're down 1 point. Game resets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much
Yeah.
1-0 ball game heading into it, right? Okay. The press was killing Kentucky, The press was destroying them. You got to find a way to take advantage of the double team. Clearly, they're trapping you at half court. They did it the whole entire game, right? You drive up court, they trap you. They trap you as soon as the screen comes because that's the system that they play. Now, what blows me away is like, why do you not slip the screen? Why do you not roll in? Because then you're going to have two guys on you, slip the screen. Somebody's going to come up on the center with the ball, and you have three people wide open on the perimeter or in the paint. Somebody's going to be wide open.
I will say, whenever I was watching a game, when we had set screens and do pick and rolls, or if we're doing a play or not, if Kentucky's making a play and there's somebody open in the corner or in the wing, Kentucky struggles to make that pass.
Mhm.
There's a lot of guys that are getting open, but they're not getting the ball. So that's one thing I noticed whenever you're talking about that, Ty, but keep going. Go ahead.
One thing I'll say about that is the lack of recruiting for a point guard, like a true point guard. You have Jalen Lowe, who got hurt throughout the season. And Pope, that was supposed to be Pope's guy, his point guard sticking through it. But my question, honestly, is like, who is your backup supposed to be? I guess it was supposed to be Jasper Johnson, right? Like that was supposed to be your guy coming off the bench. I mean, I know he was a 5-star.
I think that Pope thought that he was going to be more than he was.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't turn out to be what Pope wanted him to. Pope never really went out there and got his backup point guard. He went after and got Lowe, his starting point guard. There was also Jasper Johnson. He had Denzel. Yeah, Chandler that returned and Owe that returned. But those are all like 2s and 3s. They're shooting guards. And I would argue Ortega's or Chandler's a 3 maybe. You can't have a 2 or 3 running the 1. Maybe that'll work in the NBA if they're that good, because you see players like Jokic and LeBron bringing up the ball, but not at the college level. At the college level, especially March Madness, you need a true guard that can take over a game, and that just wasn't found on Kentucky's roster this year.
Drew, can I bring up a quote to you real quick?
Yeah, go
This
ahead.
is from head coach Mark Pope. We were disappointed that we never got to run with the roster that we thought we had. I think our guys raised up and made the best of a difficult situation. What do you think about that?
Props to him for trying to seek a positive outcome out of what happened. It's kind of hard to. Now, would the team look a lot different with a healthy Lowe and a healthy JQ? Absolutely. But Pope went after a injured JQ already. That was already trying to make a comeback. He was already injured and still offered him $1 million, maybe a few.
Okay,
Lowe,
in my opinion, you can't count Jaden Quaintus because a guy with the ACL tear, you never know what's going to happen. Like, ACL tear is a serious injury. I mean, we all know that. Like, I don't think you can even count him as a possibility because that's a huge risk. That's a 50-50 risk of, like, whether he's going to play or not.
And I believe that Mark Pope tried to build the team around JQ, knowing that was the risk. There was a 50-50 risk, and when healthy, JQ probably dominates. He probably takes over the game. He's probably one of those guys. He was a projected top 5, top 10 pick for the longest time, not anymore. But you can't build a team around a guy that's a wild card that's 50-50. And also, it's just very unfortunate that Jalen Lowe got injured in the blue and white scrimmage because he was healthy before then. He was ready to go.
I was actually there.
Yeah, he got injured in the blue and white scrimmage, and it cost him to miss the season. He tried to play through Louisville. He tried to play through other games, but he just kept re-injuring it, and it just wasn't going to happen. And I think it's pretty annoying for Kentucky fans to watch their point guard injure their shoulder because in the Mark Pope era, because last year they had Lamont Butler. He injured his shoulder, had to wear a brace almost every game he played. And then now this year, Jalen Lowe probably played 3 or 4 games, maybe majority of them, if not all, wearing a shoulder brace. And then you could see Kentucky not having a backup option at the point guard position. And then with JQ being hurt, which forced a freshman Malachi Moreno to step up and try to be the best big on the team. Because, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that Brandon Garrison struggled all year until the NCAA tournament. So relying on 2 iffy bigs when you're relying on a JQ to be healthy, I don't know. I just think that's a weird situation. Ty, what would you have to say about that quote that you just read to me and the possible outcomes with a healthy Lowe and JQ?
I mean, I get it, but really, I feel like you can only factor in Jalen Lowe as the only injury. Like, that's just my opinion. You have Cam Williams. Yes, I know he's hurt. Like, he wasn't what he was gonna be if he stayed healthy. Like, he would have been more in a rhythm. But you had him still. Like, you're only missing Jalen Lowe. I'm not gonna count JQ. Like, when you go after, I said it before. I'm not gonna even say it again. But when you go after, okay, how do I word this without sounding, okay, Jalen Lowe. I don't think he was even the right guy, like, as a point guard. And I don't even know if he's coming back.
I believe he is. I think he came out. It's not official, but there's a lot of rumor that he is. Now, I don't think he'll be the starting point guard. I think Pope will have him come off the bench.
He can't be the starting point guard if it's going to be a good Kentucky team.
I'm right there with you. I hate to say that. I love that Pope puts confidence in his players, and he's confident in who he's picking to be his point guard. But I'm right there with you. I don't think – I mean,
I like him a lot.
I mean, DJ, he was in the ACC last year with Pitt, wasn't he? Do you remember him? I mean, didn't he drop, 18 points a game, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, normal 18 points.
I mean, he could probably score, but I hate the comparison game. I'm not a fan of comparison, but when you're playing at the University of Kentucky, you have to compare to what they've had in the past. So last year they had Lamont Butler, which a lot of Kentucky fans loved. Then you have Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillingham, and then before that you have Maxey. I mean, there's a standard. I don't know if Lowe's that standard. Now, Ty, I think you have more to say. I'm sorry for interrupting. You go ahead.
No, it's all good. I was going to switch to say another quote, and it would change the conversation.
Go ahead.
All right. So here's another quote from Mark Pope. I'm pretty sure this was to the was it CBS Media? Whoever it was, the media team after the loss, right? Like on television, right? Okay, so Mark Pope said, I think our focus is finding guys that want to be at Kentucky because of what Kentucky is. We'll find the guys. There's no place like this. So that quote kind of throws me off because, like, Kentucky will be Kentucky because of the talent level that gets to Kentucky. I think, in my opinion, you bring in players with talent and you teach them the history behind Kentucky, right? Because
I'm right there with you.
What are you going to do? Just bring in people from the state that already know about Kentucky? I mean, you want to get nationwide players.
Right. I agree with you on that. So, from Pope's understanding, he would rather have a 2 or 3 star that is in love with Kentucky. It's their dream school, and try to develop them during their Kentucky time than have a 5-star that can take over a game. Obviously, he killed it in the transfer portal last year. He got Butler, Oweh, Brea, Carr, Williams. Who am I missing?
Oh, you're talking about last year. Okay. I don't even know who you named. Honestly, I was thinking about what I was saying next.
Okay, no, you're good.
Anyways.
But he killed it in the portal. And honestly, you've seen how Oweh panned out. Last year, he was great, electric player. Carried over to this year, took over ball games. Probably not as often as Kentucky fans wanted to see, but he still scored 20 points a game. With Santa Clara game, he scored his career high 35 points. Obviously, you can see what Pope is capable of getting. Like I said, I just think he made a mistake this year. He took what me and Ty were talking about earlier. You go last year, he put the program in the right direction. He took 1 step forward. But with this season, he probably took 2 or 3 steps back. finishing the season with 14 losses, getting a 7 seed in March, playing on a Wednesday in the SEC tournament, not having a backup point guard. It's kind of just a disaster for Kentucky fans. Now, Louisville, I feel like they're pretty excited for what's to come. Keesee finally getting comfortable at Louisville. He's getting, 20 wins a season, I would say, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Louisville fans are very satisfied with that. Kentucky fans are used to it. And
I think Louisville's in an upward trajectory right now.
I do too.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like Pat Keesee can get the recruit in the transfer portal. I think he'll prove it this year.
And I wanted to say something as well to go along with what you guys were saying about Kentucky's point guard situation, about Kentucky having one primary point guard that didn't even play. So you had to play 2s and 3s as your guards. And Louisville had that same problem too when Mikael Brown's out because nobody that Louisville has is a true guard besides Brown. Conwell is a 2, and he had struggled all year trying to be that primary point guard whenever Brown was out. And I just feel like as well that Pat Kelsey's dude does have to research into that kind of getting that backup point guard, because whenever your main point guard goes out, you need to have somebody else. And I don't feel like getting a bunch of 2s and 3s is good for neither team. So I feel like both teams could improve on that as well.
I think what Mark Pope and Pat Keesee probably both learned from this is that you can't – I mean, some guys are going to – they're in it for the money. And I hate to say that because we don't know that for a fact, but that's just what it seems like.
It's a new era of college sports. Let's just say that.
Yeah. So you got to be careful with who you go out and get is what I think. And then I also had a quote to extend on what Pope said. Pope also added to what he said earlier. He said, "We thought we were going to have depth and physicality and size, and it felt like we were going to come wave after wave." So I guess what he's meaning by that is Jaden Quaintance.
He's talking about the fully healthy roster that he constructed before any games were played.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like
obviously it's changed since then, and obviously it didn't work out for him. So we'll just have to see how Mark Pope goes and does this offseason. I mean, Todd, do you have anything else to say about the game or Kentucky basketball right now in general?
I mean, the game, Kentucky got outscored 51-33 in the second half. I mean, that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing that I have, and I think I'm about done ranting, is like, if you're Mark Pope, are you going after Tyron Stokes heavy? Are you throwing a lot of money at him? Are you risking that being a Mikael Brown kind of situation? Because it very well could end up like that. But it also could work out great for him. So are you risking?
Here's my take. My take. We look at this season, right? Who is BYU star player?
DJ.
Who is Kansas star player?
Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Who is Duke star player? Who
Cameron Boozer.
Right. Who is North Carolina star player?
Caleb Wilson.
What do they all have in common?
Well, yeah.
They're freshmen. They're freshmen that can take over the game. They're 5-star I know stars don't matter all the time, but that class was absolutely loaded.
Okay, but
you look into the next class.
Darren Peterson.
That situation's hard. You don't know. It's hard to predict what the situation is going to be.
Yeah,
because
you're right.
You can have a Darren Peterson, or you can have a Boozer that plays every game.
That's true. And Duke lucked out with that. Well, not lucked out. You know what I mean. Duke got what they wanted.
After this past season, I mean, absolutely go for the portal targets because that's college basketball. But this is Kentucky. You get that 5-star that you want.
We is
And
Kentucky. You know that quote.
I just think with Pope's he's gonna get a lot of hate after this past season, and he needs something to rejuvenate the fan base. He needs something to point like, hey, I know this season was bad, but hey, look what we got next season. Kentucky's seen that a lot with Calipari, but it kind of got repetitive. But it would be different if he pointed at next season like, okay, look, listen, guys, we have a better roster coming in. We're gonna go get 9.
All right,
I feel like you got to get Stokes. Y'all might disagree, but you got to get that kind of player because everybody else in that class is already committed. Christian Collins is committed. Caleb Holt's committed. You got to go get somebody unless there's a top portal but there's a top portal player that I don't know about.
No.
Kentucky has to get that player that makes the fan base excited and that could go get a bucket when you need it. Tyler, go ahead.
Before I say. Before I change the subject, if you're Kentucky, you need to go get Dink Pate from the G League. You need to get Tyron Stokes. You need to bring back guys like Cam Williams. You need to bring back Marino. I'm assuming Pope is going to bring back Jalen Lowe. So, assuming that happens, Dink Pate's your starter. Jalen Lowe's your backup. Pope's probably going to fight for Colin Chandler to stay.
Who do you think's returning, Tyler?
I'm going to say that Marino will stay. Cam Williams will stay. I'm iffy on Colin Chandler because I think somebody might go get him money, you know? I think somebody will go pay him money.
I believe Chandler's too loyal to Pope. I think Chandler will come back another season.
Yeah, I mean,
everybody else, I'm pretty confident in Chandler coming back, but everybody else I'm kind of 50-50 on. I have no idea how that'll go.
I feel like Kentucky kind of has Marino and Cam locked. That's from an outside perspective, that's kind of what it seems like. So if you're right on Colin Chandler, that's 3 guys right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, hit the transfer portal heavy, go get the rest of your guys. Or who knows, maybe Pope just wants to start clean, which I highly doubt, but it's a real possibility.
You see how he started clean in his first year. You see how well that went.
Yeah. And, I think, honestly, I'm going to say this, Otega Owe is a huge reason for Mark Pope's success. Like, if you don't have Otega Owe, I don't know what you have.
That was a diamond in the rough.
Exactly.
Pope went and got him. I mean, keep in mind, Pope wasn't hired until April. March Madness is already over. Players are already committing. So Pope had little time to get together that roster. And he found Otega Owe that averaged maybe 11 points a game at Oklahoma and turned him into a 20 points per game preseason SEC Player of the Year kind of guy. It's mind-boggling to me that you go from the year you had the first year to what happened this year. I mean, Tyler, DJ, would you agree with that? I mean, I know we've kind of talked about it already. I'm in disbelief.
Me too, because, I mean, you form a roster in a few months, 1 year, or less than that.
Yeah,
and then
it might have been 1 month, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah, because it was towards the end of the transfer. I mean, it was middle.
I honestly think it was 1 month.
You think so? I can't remember, honestly. I don't know when the portal closes. I completely forgot. But anyways.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is I'm not calling for Mark Pope's job.
It's not fair, too.
I'm not going to say that. And I don't really know if I ever will call for somebody's job because that's not my place. That's that athletic director. That's their decision. And honestly, it's on them. So, I just want to make that clear that I don't think Mark Pope should be fired. Think you give him a year and let that new athletic director see what he does. And we don't even have any news on that. Like, I'm really kind of concerned by that, to be honest with you. It's been what, 4 weeks about, and we have no new news. So I don't know. Eli Capilouto is the president, who will make the call on who the new athletic director is, and I know he did have an interview. He denied. I don't like talking about other news sites, but he denied KSR's interview, and he had a private interview with some other radio station or whatever it was. I think it was like Kentucky's radio station, but that's all we know about that. So if y'all got anything more to add, then go ahead.
I don't know. Kentucky's season was just this.
All right.
Louisville's season. Louisville fans have something to look forward to, like we said. I know a lot of Kentucky fans are upset. So,
Yep.
Drew, what was Kentucky's season?
Their record?
No, like how? What did you just do?
Oh, yeah, it was just straight.
Disappointment.
Okay, before I go, I do want to say something about the Cards. Next year, we will not be seeing Ryan Conwell, McNeely, Hadley, Pryor, Khalifa, or Rogers.
Are they seniors?
They're all seniors. They'll all be gone. The only players that we have returning, not sure yet, would be Zugris, Woolley, Frew, and Ruths. They're the only guys that the Cards have that are returning. Everybody else are seniors. 2 of them are juniors. I think 2 of them are sophomores. Woolley and Ruths, I'm pretty sure, are sophomores, and Frew and Zugris are juniors. So I'm not sure if we'll see all 4 of them next season, but we'll definitely let you guys know on in any recruiting and stuff. So
You just reminded me that earlier in the season, I did hear something about Kentucky may have signed 2-way contract or 2-year contracts with players. So
okay,
I don't know what that looks like, and obviously the contracts aren't public.
Yeah.
So that's another thing to look out for with Kentucky.
I do want to say congrats to these seniors, and hopefully they move on, see what they do in the draft, or for this year, both Louisville and Kentucky seniors that move on. So hopefully they continue on and see if they get drafted as well. So,
yeah.
Well, do y'all have anything else to say before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. Looking forward to a new season of college basketball and 2026 to 2027 season. Hopefully, hopefully Kentucky and Louisville can kind of hit it hard in the transfer portal, get their recruits, get their guys. We'll have a look out on that, and then update y'all on social media.
Yep.
I think
what we'll do from now on is it's baseball season. We'll continue to deep dive into baseball. Now that both teams are eliminated in basketball, all teams are eliminated in basketball. Murray State actually played NIT, lost the first round, so that was unfortunate for the Racers. But the Cards and the Cats both lost in the round of 32. Season's over, which means the off-season's coming soon. Like Tyler said, we'll keep you updated on portal commits and everything. But now it's baseball season. We'll deep dive into baseball. We'll be talking about that a lot, and we'll also be talking about March Madness, the remaining of March Madness, and we'll talk about our brackets, our podcast challenge, our bracket challenge. We'll talk about that as well. And that's what you all have to look for in the next few episodes.
Kings.
And also, yes, thank you for reminding me. This week is the game week for the Louisville Kings. It is Louisville's first professional football team. Is that correct? Or is it Kentucky's first professional team?
I guess.
I don't know the history.
Well, if you want to count, I mean, I don't know what you want to count. Like, are you Are you counting the Louisville Bats?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, that's
Well,
okay.
there's
Because
semi-pros.
I mean, I don't know what you're counting because got soccer
I'll
too.
just say professional football.
Professional football.
Yes.
This is professional football in the Bluegrass, and it is in Louisville. It is game week. I'm pretty sure they're taking on the Birmingham Stallions.
Go Kings.
Okay.
We're going to be looking forward to that. You have former Cat Benny Snell
Hell
on the
yeah.
roster, so a lot of Kentucky fans will be rooting for them. And then there's also some Louisville Cards on the team. I'm not sure the specific players, but a lot to look forward to in the Bluegrass when it comes to football. It is football season. I did forget about that. Thank you to DJ. We'll be covering the Louisville Kings. We'll be talking about their scores and their stats and how they're doing. But like I said, we'll continue to talk about the Bat Cats and the Louisville baseball team, along with EKU, WKU, and Murray State. And yeah, we'll keep an update on socials. Like I said, follow us on BG Sports Podcast on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Threads. And then you can listen to us at Bluegrass Sports Podcast on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Radio, iTunes Radio, YouTube, and Facebook. So check us out on all those apps, and we'll keep you updated. So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, it means the world to us, and we will see you next time.
Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.